You ever walk into a room and feel something in the air shift? You haven't spoken. No one's called your name. But there it is, a silent spark. Eyes connect. Shoulders shift. Breaths pause. And in that stillness, something ancient unfolds. That's not magic. That's body language. And if you're grounded in the teachings of Stoicism, you already know reality reveals itself in subtle ways, not in noise, but in nuance. It's not always what is said that matters. It's what is not said. It's the flicker of a gaze, the angle of a body, the energy in a pause. The world today urges us to perform, to talk louder, move bigger, to command attention like a spotlight. But the Stoics understood that true influence and understanding come not from performance, but from presence, from observation, from quiet, practiced awareness. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." In our context, replace right with real. If someone shows you what is real, especially in relationships, you are not harmed. You are liberated. Body language is the real beneath the words. It's the silent truth. And when we learn to observe it with stoic calmness and clarity, we don't just understand others better, we understand ourselves. Now, let's root this in something tangible. Attraction is one of the most misunderstood and overcomplicated phenomena in modern life. We're taught to look for signs. Does she like me? Was that touch intentional? Did that smile mean something more? We chase answers like a dog chases its tail, forgetting the simple power of observation. The science backs it up. Dr. Albert Mehrabian, a pioneer in body language research, proposed that only 7% of communication is verbal. The rest? Tone, inflection, and, you guessed it, body language. So when you're sitting across from someone, trying to gauge their interest, remember, their body is already speaking. But here's the Stoic twist. Don't seek confirmation. Seek clarity. A Stoic doesn't cling to hope or run from rejection. He observes. He deciphers. He remains unmoved in ego and deeply moved by truth. That's what this journey is about. We're not here to decode body language for seduction or manipulation. We're here to uncover the signals of sincere interest, and to do so through the lens of ancient, enduring wisdom. Because if you can learn to see clearly, to witness without projecting, to notice without needing, you will walk through the world with quiet confidence. You won't chase attraction. You will recognize it. And when it is real, you will meet it not with strategy, but with soul. So take a breath. Let go of games, gimmicks, and the noise of a world obsessed with attention. Instead, let's step into stillness. Let's observe what has always been there. Let's decode attraction, not with desperation, but with discernment. Let's begin. Number 1, 5 key body language signals of attraction. The Stoics taught that observation is the doorway to understanding. Attraction is not always declared. It is shown, quietly, in small acts of instinct. These 5 signals are not guarantees of romantic intent. They are cues, breadcrumbs in the forest of human emotion. The wise do not jump to conclusions. They follow patiently. They listen deeply. The first signal, prolonged eye contact. There is a certain weight in a gaze, a depth that pulls you in without ever touching you. When someone holds your eye contact longer than the rhythm of polite conversation allows, it's more than a fluke. It's a flicker of connection, a moment where walls fall and the soul peeks through. But here's what makes this so compelling. Our eyes betray us. They widen at beauty. They narrow at suspicion. They soften when we're drawn to something or someone. Evolution has wired our gaze to focus intently on what captivates us. And when that gaze lingers on you, it could be attraction looking through the window of her eyes. In the context of Stoic philosophy, eye contact is not something to obsess over. It is not your proof of being worthy or desired. It is simply a moment to observe. A Stoic sees the gaze for what it is, information, not fantasy, not fuel for daydreams. When her eyes lock onto yours and stay, when they return again and again across the room, even in moments of distraction, observe it with poise. Don't immediately react. Don't assume. Let the gaze wash over you like a breeze. Real, but not yours to command. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. So even in the fire of attraction, return inward. Let her gaze be noticed, but let your strength remain rooted in self-possession. The second signal, mirroring your behavior. Mirroring is one of the most overlooked and powerful indicators of interest. It's subtle, unspoken, and almost always unconscious. You shift your weight, she does too. You tilt your head slightly to the left, and moments later, so does she. You rest your hand on the table, and she mirrors the posture without even realizing it. This isn't coincidence, it's resonance. Psychologists call this the chameleon effect. When we feel connected to someone, we mimic their movements and tone, creating a subconscious rhythm of rapport. It's the body's way of saying, I feel aligned with you. I want to stay in sync. But the Stoic doesn't leap at this sign with hungry excitement. He watches it with inner stillness. To the man grounded in Stoicism, mirroring is not a signal to initiate conquest. It is a moment of awareness, a sign that presence has created harmony. He does not seek to exploit it. He honors it. He listens to the rhythm, but continues to walk his own cadence. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And freedom begins when you no longer need proof that you're desired to feel confident. When someone mirrors you, it's a compliment delivered by the body, but one that only matters if it aligns with deeper truth. So acknowledge the dance, but do not lead it until both hearts move to the same beat. The third signal, touch initiation. Touch is the most intimate of the five senses. It bypasses the intellect and heads straight for the nervous system. A brush of the arm, a playful shove, a hand resting a second too long. All are bodily signatures that bypass speech and dive into emotion. But touch isn't just about proximity. It's about permission. When someone initiates physical contact in a gentle, repeated, or lingering way, it's often a subtle cue of comfort, familiarity, and interest. To the Stoic observer, this gesture is not a green light to inflate your ego or draw conclusions too quickly. Instead, it's a signpost. One that says, there may be warmth here. Stay present. Observe more. Context is essential. Did she touch your arm in a crowded hallway to navigate space? Or in a quiet room, during conversation, when no such necessity existed? Was the contact brief and accidental, or deliberate and repeated? Stoicism demands this discernment. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The wise man doesn't lean into assumptions. He doesn't interpret every brush as attraction or validation. Instead, he gathers data like a scientist, steady and humble. When her touch is light, playful, or gently lingering, especially if paired with warm eye contact or subtle smiles, consider it a layer in the language of attraction. Not the whole sentence, just a syllable. Let it speak, then let it rest. Respond not with performance, but with presence. The fourth signal, body orientation, facing you. The human body doesn't lie. Long before words reach the air, the torso, feet, and shoulders have already told the truth. When someone is drawn to you, especially in a crowded or busy environment, their body begins to align. Feet point toward you, shoulders square off. Even when engaged with others, their subconscious posture leans your way. This is evolutionary wiring. We orient ourselves toward what holds our attention, what we trust, what we want more of. To a Stoic, this is a cue to notice, not to dominate. If her entire body subtly turns toward you in a group, or if she consistently maintains an open posture in your direction, it speaks of openness. But do not confuse openness with invitation. Remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. Let her orientation guide your awareness, not your ambition. Observe it, but remain rooted in your own dignity. If she's truly aligned with you, her body will consistently reflect it. But your strength lies not in being chosen, but in staying present. The fifth signal, nervous excitement, fidgeting, laughing, playing with hair. Attraction can be calming, but sometimes it's the opposite. It creates a quiet tension, a burst of nerves. She plays with her hair, adjusts her necklace, fidgets with her ring. Her laugh is a little too loud, a little too frequent. This is the body's way of releasing energy. When we're drawn to someone, the limbic system, the brain's emotional center, activates. Blood pressure rises, pupils dilate, and we feel off balance. To a Stoic, this doesn't mean she's yours. It means she's human. Her nervous energy could be attraction, or social anxiety. But if it's coupled with the other signs, prolonged eye contact, leaning in, mirroring, you may be standing in the quiet center of her storm. A storm not of chaos, but of curiosity. A Stoic observes all this not with urgency, but with reverence. These signs are not green lights or guarantees. They are invitations. They whisper, not shout. To decode them, you must be still. You must be wise. You must let them come to you, without grasping, without projecting, without need. Because when you can see clearly, you'll know. When it's real, it doesn't need to be chased. It's already meeting you halfway. And your job, dear listener, is simply to walk, quietly, calmly, toward the truth. These 5 signals, layered together, don't form a guarantee, but they do create a rhythm. A melody that, if listened to with a Stoic heart, reveals more truth than 1,000 spoken words. When you notice them, smile inwardly. Say nothing. Let the moment unfold. Because the man who sees clearly desires nothing urgently. And that man is truly attractive. Number 2. How to respond. Stoic approach to attraction. So you've seen the signs. Her eyes linger on yours. Her gestures echo your movements. Her body faces you like a compass to true north. She laughs longer, touches often, shifts nervously in your presence. The signals are there. But now what? This is where most falter. They rush to convert interest into validation. They react. They overstep. They confuse acknowledgement with entitlement. But you, the Stoic, do not rush. You do not leap. You respond. The Stoic approach to attraction is not passive. It is powerful in its calm. It is deliberate. It is deeply aware, but never desperate. Your response is not dictated by desire, but by discernment. Let's root this in Epictetus. He taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When you notice attraction, the first act isn't to talk or act. It is to listen, not just to words, but to presence, to rhythm, to intention. Responding as a Stoic means carrying a posture of openness, not pursuit. You engage, but do not demand. You express, but never impose. You allow space for her to move closer or step back. When she leans in, you don't chase. You stay, grounded, steady. You make eye contact, not to seduce, but to connect. You ask questions, not to impress, but to understand. You offer laughter, warmth, and honesty, not to win, but to be real. This doesn't mean apathy. It means depth. It's walking into the room with nothing to prove and everything to share. It's letting your words rise slowly, like steam from a quiet fire. It's watching, listening, feeling before acting. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In love, this means don't be manipulative because the world is. Don't pretend to be disinterested to gain power. Don't mirror seduction with strategy. Be you, steady, thoughtful, unmoved by chaos, but deeply moved by connection. In practice, responding with Stoic integrity looks like this. You maintain eye contact, not to dominate, but to witness. You speak with clarity, not flattery. You express interest, but not expectation. You receive affection, but never cling to it. You move forward only when it aligns with your values. And if her energy fades, you don't chase it. You don't panic. You don't beg the universe for answers. You acknowledge, you appreciate, and you move on. Because Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, only our own virtue. And in attraction, your virtue is calm presence, honest expression, and unwavering dignity. When a connection deepens, you build it slowly. You open the door, but you don't drag her through. You invite, but never pressure. You stay curious, not controlling. You pursue not with intensity, but with sincerity. And if the fire grows, you warm your hands. If it dims, you keep walking. Either way, you are whole. That is the Stoic way to respond. Not with hunger, but with harmony. With clarity, not craving. With presence, not pretense. Because the man who knows himself never fears what others feel for him. And that man, unchanging in his virtue, yet open in his soul, becomes a lighthouse. Not chasing ships, but guiding them. Number 3, when signals are confusing or mixed. One of the most unsettling experiences is the presence of mixed signals. One moment, her body leans in. Next, she withdraws. One day, she laughs at every word you speak. The next, she's distant. Her eyes say one thing, her words another. To the untrained, this is chaos. To the Stoic, it's complexity. Life is not binary, and neither is attraction. People are layered. They are battling their own doubts, histories, and desires. A woman may be drawn to you, yet afraid. She may like your energy, yet be unsure of herself. Her signals may not reflect manipulation, but internal confusion. Stoicism calls us to meet uncertainty with clarity, not control. When signals are unclear, the path forward is not interrogation. It's observation. It's patience. Seneca reminds us, time discovers truth. And so you wait, not passively, but attentively. You don't fill in blanks with fantasy. You let reality unfold. If she pulls away after giving signs, don't immediately take it as rejection. Ask, is she overwhelmed, distracted, testing boundaries, or simply in a state of indecision? Mixed signals invite one of two responses: anxious pursuit or stoic presence. The anxious man overanalyzes, double texts, demands clarity. The stoic man steps back. He creates space, not pressure. He lets her make the next move. This isn't indifference, it's respect. For her process, for your peace. And here lies the truth. If a woman is genuinely interested, she will return. If not, her distance is a blessing in disguise. The Stoic doesn't fight for confusion. He walks where the path is clear. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Mixed signals are not blocks, they're guides. They tell you what's unresolved, what needs more time, or more distance. So when attraction feels like a riddle, don't solve it. Let it speak. Let her reveal, not rush. In that silence, you will hear more truth than any conversation could offer. Remain still. Observe longer. Assume nothing. And trust that clarity will come, not through force, but through time. A Stoic man waits, not because he is afraid, but because he understands. What is real reveals itself. Always. Number 4. When attraction is mutual, now what? You've observed her gaze, her touch, her tone, and all signs point to yes. Not as a fantasy, but as a steady truth. The signals aren't fleeting, they are consistent. The attraction is mutual. So what now? This is where many falter. Not from lack of desire, but from the temptation to overreach. They lean too far, chase too fast, lose themselves in the heat of validation. But the Stoic does not let intensity disrupt integrity. Mutual attraction, for him, is not an achievement, it's an unfolding. A shared moment that calls not for conquest, but for care. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In attraction, that truth deepens. For when mutual interest appears, the Stoic doesn't ask, "How do I win her?" He reflects, "How do I remain myself while walking beside her?" Because it's easy to pretend your way into affection, but it is nobler and rarer to bring your whole self forward, unchanged, unmasked. The Stoic responds to mutual attraction with stillness, not strategy. He keeps doing what drew her in, not as a tactic, but as truth. He does not accelerate connection with artificial urgency. He allows it to breathe, to rise slowly like bread in an oven. He understands that time is the only test that reveals whether initial sparks can survive the silence of real life. In shared laughter, he offers sincerity. In moments of vulnerability, he offers presence. He listens more than he speaks more from essence than ego. He does not push the bond forward, but nourishes it through small acts of consistency. For the Stoic knows, intensity might dazzle, but steadiness builds. And when emotions deepen, he doesn't anchor himself to expectation. He shares his thoughts, but not to be praised. He gives his time, but not to be needed. He invites her into his world, not as a savior, but as a companion. There is no performance, only alignment. No pressure, only space. He watches how she moves in moments of calm and in conflict. He studies not just the blush of attraction, but the substance beneath it, her values, her rhythm, her peace. He does not mistake chemistry for compatibility. Instead, he listens, as Epictetus advised, with the intention to understand, not to reply. And if she walks beside him with integrity, openly, gently, repeatedly, he honors it, not by trying harder, but by being present, not by holding on tighter, but by letting her choose, daily, to stay. If she steps back, he doesn't chase. He respects the silence, the space, the shift. He knows that anything real cannot be forced. So what happens when attraction is mutual? For the Stoic, it becomes an invitation not to lose yourself in someone else, but to find more of yourself in the presence of another. Love is not a game of possession. It is a practice of presence. He does not become someone new. He becomes more deeply himself. And if she is meant to walk beside him, she will do so not because he convinced her, but because he was real enough to meet her soul with stillness. And in doing that, he becomes not just someone she's drawn to. He becomes someone she can trust, someone unforgettable. In the end, decoding the body language of attraction is not about tricks or tactics. It's about presence. It's about being awake to the quiet language that pulses between people long before words arrive. When you walk into a room with a calm soul and a clear mind, you'll begin to notice more subtle cues, hidden signals, and the unspoken rhythm of connection. But a Stoic doesn't just notice. He interprets with humility. He receives attention without becoming addicted to it. He honors beauty without needing to possess it. He recognizes interest not as a conquest to pursue, but as a harmony to explore. When someone is drawn to you, it's not a prize, it's a mirror. And your task is not to chase the reflection, but to see yourself clearly within it. If she meets your gaze, mirrors your stance, reaches out with touch, and lingers with curiosity, those are gifts, not proofs of your worth, just acknowledgments of presence. Temporary, fleeting, beautiful. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, receive without pride, let go without attachment. That's how the Stoic navigates attraction, with grace, with gratitude, with groundedness. So remember, when signals appear, watch. When they mix, breathe. When they align, walk. But never lose yourself in the noise. Always return to your center. Because in this noisy, rushing world, the man who can observe without urgency, feel without losing clarity, and love without losing himself, that man is rare. And that man, you, are what this world remembers. If this journey has helped you see more clearly, walk more wisely, or love more deeply, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, and above all, keep seeking truth. In silence, in stillness, in love. Until next time, be well, be present, and walk the Stoic path.